Morning, everybody. Hold on one second while I get situated. All right, let's see. Can I get this angle right? I think so. So what are we looking at today? Well, against my better judgment, I started reviewing guns again. I think it's hurt my channel because my revenue is dropping like a stone. Yet my viewership is up. I'm getting either the same amount of views or more on views and watch time. So people are watching my videos more, or at least the same, yet I'm taking a nosedive again. And I think it's something, I don't know what it is. In any case, we'll talk about that in another video. So we're gonna do real quick. I'm doing this while I still have access to this because this is going to my buddy who has just purchased it. But we've got a Ruger Wrangler and the new Super Wrangler. So I was gonna go through real quick what the differences are. Now on paper they look similar. This, you know, when you see a picture of them, they look kind of the same, but they are a good bit different. So this is the original Ruger Wrangler. Ruger's had the single 6 for a long time. Great single action 22 long rifle revolver in a traditional older, you know, cowboy style. The downside to it was they were really expensive back in the day. I think they were in the 400-ish range. Now they're going for in the fives, almost $600 if you want the stainless and, you know, the fancier one. So what we've got here is their attempt to bring a more cost conscious, so it's more cast pieces instead of maybe machined and things like that. But it's a Ruger. It's a really good revolver. They shoot real well. They're reliable. A lot of fun if you want to get your inner cowboy on. So these have all been safety checked. Nothing in the chambers. Double checking. I've already done it off screen, but just for those folks that get bent out of shape, there we've done safety check. Obviously that's empty. And same thing on this one. So what are the differences between the Ruger Wrangler and the Super Wrangler? Well, there's about 7 ounces, so there's a decent weight difference, but there's a reason for that. The other thing is that this is slightly larger. It's a little bit of a larger pistol dimensionally. The grips are the same size. I believe they're probably interchangeable. They're also interchangeable with the Ruger 6, maybe the Bearcat grip. So if you want to get aftermarket horn, G10, wood, things like that, there's plenty of options out there, and I will be upgrading the grips on my Super Ruger Wrangler, whatever. The other differences here are going to be the barrel length, I believe, is a tiny bit longer on the Super Wrangler. It's a little bit bigger while the grip is the same size. This is a little bit bigger and beefier. This is a little bit longer. There's a reason for that. This is 22 long rifle. These are going for anywhere from like 180-ish to 200 depending on the dealer. Brand new. They come in this color. They come in black. They come in a Cerakote kind of bronze. This is, I guess, they're called tungsten or something like that, or silver Cerakote. This one is a bit bigger and beefier because this one, it shoots more than 22 long rifle. So you've got your cylinder here for 22 long rifle. You can push that button. See, pop this out, push that button in, pull that out, and you can pop out your cylinder. And then over here is a 22 Winchester Magnum. So this will shoot 22 long rifle or 22 mag. And 22 mag really ups the power. You can get, you know, a good bit of power out of a 22 out of that. So really good for pest control and things like that. Or you just want a little more power. You want a little more range or something like that. You can drop that cylinder in, drop that pin back in, close the gate, or load it and then close the gate, and you're off and running with 22 mag. I think most of the time when you're just at the range plinking, you're probably going to drop in the 22 long rifle just because that ammo is, well, nothing's dirt cheap anymore, but 22 long rifle is certainly way cheaper. This also seems to spin a little more freely. That spins, but it's got a little more friction. And that could just be the particular gun I've got. So that's the biggest difference, is 22 long rifle only, little smaller, little lighter. And then you've got 22 long rifle and 22 mag in a slightly bigger, heavier revolver. This tends to fit my hand a little better, even though this is the same size. just the weight and everything, it just, out here, it does feel a little bit better. To me, that's going to be subjective to the size of your hands. The other biggest difference is the sights. On your regular Wranglers, you've just got your traditional notch groove in the top of the receiver here, and a front sight that is just a blade. It's just molded or welded, whatever they did. It's just on the barrel. There's no way to adjust for it. So you would, just like in the old days, you know, I don't know how they would do it. I'm sure a gunsmith could do something to adjust the sights if it was a small adjustment. But a lot of times you would just learn how your gun shoots, and you would just adjust, accommodate it. You know, you just aim a little low or a little to the left or whatever. Here, you've got a front sight, and I would imagine because that is screwed on, if you wanted to change this out and put on other, type of sights or something like that, fiber optic or something, you could do that. But you've got a fully adjustable rear sight, which is really nice. So looks a little bit less traditional. I mean, if you're looking for something that looks like it came out of the, late 1800s, this certainly looks more the part. But here, I think it's a more versatile, nicer. It's nicer having the 2 calibers. It's also nice having the adjustable sights. I will leave those as is. What I will do is clean that with acetone and put some orange paint. I got a paint marker. I'll put some orange paint just to make that a little easier to pick up when I'm at the range. So the trigger pull, I don't like to do, it's a rim fire, so you shouldn't dry fire it a lot because the firing pin will make contact with the cylinder. And you didn't want to mushroom or damage your firing pin over time. It's nice when it hits the bullet. The bullet acts as a buffer because it's brass, it's soft. It absorbs that impact. I don't want steel on steel. But when we get to the range, the trigger feels pretty crisp. I mean, there's got a little bit of creep. It feels a little bit nicer than this, but not much different, really. This one feels like it has just a little more creep, but it's hard to say when you can't feel it because you're kind of covering the hammer like that. But this is just a little bit bigger. It is a little more tip heavy. I think that'll come in handy. When you are shooting 22 Magnum, it'll have a little bit of recoil. 22 long rifle out of this is going to be like shooting a cap gun. While it's not a toy and all firearms can be deadly, you never want to treat it like a toy, but that's what it's going to feel like. A 22, this weighs 37 ounces. This weighs damn near as much as like a 1911. Probably about as much as a 1911, maybe a compact commander size. So very nice. I love the look of this. This is going to go great with my new Cowboy Henry 44 mag carbine lever action. But that's going to be fun. I love the idea of being able to shoot 2 different calibers out of it. And I don't know what I'll use it for. This is a gun that doesn't have to have a purpose. That's what's nice. I got other guns that are carry guns. Some guns are going to be target guns. This is something that I got just because I wanted it. Cost $270. My YouTube payment for the month will pay that. Bought that. So basically, we're good to go on that. It feels good in the hand, and there's something about, when you grew up in the 80s, 70s, 60s, pretty much any time before now, you grew up playing cops and robbers, or you played cowboys and Indians and stuff, and there was always something. I grew up, you'd watch, old Clint Eastwood, westerns, John Wayne, Blazing Saddle. Well, that was probably not appropriate for kids, but westerns and stuff like that. Those single action handguns. They say the Colt Peacemaker was it that is the gun that won the West and stuff. I mean, these guns are iconic. Not these particular models, but this is the throwback. This is what they were going for. And you can buy, there's no shortage of quality revolvers out there that do actually shoot 45 long Colt and other calibers and stuff, which are going to be more of, a copy of the gun that won the West and stuff. But not everybody wants to spend $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 on a revolver, and then you got to spend $1 a round on ammo. At least at today's prices, unless you do reloading. And if you're doing cowboy shooting, a lot of stuff, maybe you are, but to buy a revolver like that and then have to spend tons of money on reloading equipment and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of us we have other hobbies, just don't have the time for that. So being able to buy something like this that gives you that feeling, and it gives you that aesthetic and that kind of nostalgia, but being inexpensive to shoot, But then if you did want a little more power, I don't know, you wanted to go shoot groundhogs or you wanted to do some kind of pest control, and this would be a challenge. But I think using a small kind of gun like that, I mean, you probably would rather have a rifle or whatever. But being able to, up the power a little bit with a 22, I think with a 22 mag rather, I think that's really cool. 22 mag, if you're pushing a 40 grain CCI mini mag or something out to almost 1,800 feet per second or something, that's a potent little round. I mean, that's enough to use for self-defense. I mean, you could defend yourself with 22. I wouldn't recommend necessarily a single action, revolver for that. But when you think about back in the cowboy days and stuff, this is the kind of guns that people were carrying. They had bigger calibers, but as far as the mechanism, as far as being able to only have a couple rounds and, slow reloads where you got to open the gate, rotate the cylinder. Up here, you've got the push rod to push the spent rounds. So reloading this thing, you ain't doing it in a hurry. I'm sure there's cowboy guys that practice and can do this in their sleep, and they could probably do it pretty quick. That's the downside to the single action. You don't have the you can't go boom, boom, boom and use your double action trigger, but also the loading and reloading takes a little bit of time. So if you were to use this for hunting or self-defense, you'd need to choose your shots wisely. There is no spray and pray. And if you use up all your rounds and don't hit anything, you're in a bad place. So don't recommend it for that kind of use. But if you want something just recreationally, just something to have that's just damn cool, you can buy these for, like I said, 180 to 200 and just shoot 22 long rifle out of it. They're a little lighter, so if you got a younger shooter, you're trying to teach your kid or nephew or someone, the basic fundamentals of shooting, and you wanted to use a weapon like that, this might be the better option. If you're an adult and you don't mind something a little heavier, and you thinking, yeah, maybe, maybe I'd want to shoot 22 mag, you can do that. There's also Heritage Manufacturing they've got a bunch of these types of guns too, and they're a lot cheaper, but I think the Ruger's much nicer. When you look at a lot of the stuff I've seen on the Heritage Arms, I think it's Heritage Arms, they shoot, but the metal is, it's more like, I don't know, it looks more like cast pot metal. This just seems to be put together a lot better. It is a Ruger. I feel like this is definitely more quality. Then again, you're also paying a lot more money. 280 versus the Heritage Arms version of the 22 mag, those might be 160, so you are paying a bit of a premium. $100 doesn't sound like a terrible lot of money difference, but you're talking about a 40% increase in price as a percentage or something like that. So, but that is the new Super Wrangler, made here in the US, a little beefier, multi-caliber, adjustable sights, as opposed to single caliber, non-adjustable sights. Still a fun little gun. These are great to shoot. I picked up 2 of these when I bought them, and I gave one to my wife's grandson for Christmas one year. Maybe it was his birthday. I don't know. But yeah, that's what we got today. So I'm sure I'm killing myself in the algorithms even more by doing another gun review, but you know what? It's my channel. I'm going to do what I want. I do my hobby for what I want, and I guess if YouTube doesn't like it, wants to start taking away money, then it is what it is. I'm not going to give in to the man, at least not now. But there you have it. Wrangler, Super Wrangler. Either one, I think, would be an excellent addition to anyone's collection. If you like that kind of stuff, you like lever actions, you like something kind of classic, you like something that reminds you of growing up as a kid and those kinds of movies and shows you used to watch, Bonanza, all that stuff. What was the other one with James Garner? Maverick. There's a lot of good at Westerns and stuff growing up. Hey, even if you were from a later generation, you had, what was one with Emilio Estevez and those guys? They were the Regulators. Damn, I can't remember the name of the movie. Here I'm talking about, you should watch this, and I don't have the goddamn name in my head. I can't think of it. But Young Guns? Maybe it was Young Guns. I think there was Young Guns too, as well. But beautiful, beautifully crafted. I like that. I can't wait. So I'm going to the range this week. I'm going to take this, and I'm probably going to take my Shield Plus, and then the 2 lever actions. And I'll see if they'll let me set up a camera, and I'll get a little shooting action in, and then when I come back, I'll do a shooting impression of what I thought, how it shot, reliability, how easy was it to load and unload, what was the accuracy like, how was the recoil. We'll finally do a shooting video. I've done too many of these tabletop reviews and not enough at the range, but I did go and buy a bunch of ammo yesterday. So I've got free range pass as well. So we'll go get some of that. So I am going to package this back up because that is going to my buddy. And that one's going in the closet. What I need to do now is get a, I need to go get a damned leather holster for that. I've got one of those cheap, whatevers, the Uncle Mike's. But I feel like if you got a cowboy gun, I don't want something too ornate, but you got to at least have some kind of leather holster. I don't know how often I'll ever carry something like that. It would need to be like, oh, I was at someone's property out in the woods and we were just goofing around and using it for plinking. And rather than putting it in my pocket or holding it in my hand, you'd want a holster. I can't imagine any other time I would ever carry that kind of a gun. But I think it's going to be an awesome shooter. Nice crisp action, nice adjustable sights. Good on you, Ruger. I'm glad you did this. I thought the first one was really good, but then when I heard they were doing one of these, I was like, oh, I got to get one of those. So now we do. Anyway, that is your tabletop review of the Ruger Super Wrangler.